I don't understand what happened. I came out here inspecting the equipment, making sure it was gonna work, and I'm stuck. Bridget!
What did you do?
I was checking the wheelie thing and this thing and...
Well, how are we gonna get you out of here?
You have a saw?
No, we're not taking us out of this. Dean, we've got 20 acres of corn to combine later this fall. I can't have you laid out. Who's gonna help us combine?
You know a guy.
I know a guy. I do know a guy.
Can he help? Can he get me out of this predicament?
Yeah, not you, but he can help our corn. Let me make a call.
The cop pulls me over. You know you're speeding? Well, look at my arm. I just got caught in a combine.
This is a planter.
Like he knows.
Dean is better. He's all bandaged up, but at least he's unstuck. Now, we did have a hero to help us. Let me introduce you to our hero, Dan Erdman with Farm Rescue.
Thanks for having me, Bridget.
So Dan, what do you do with a farmer in that situation where they're laid up and they can't be a part of harvest?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. That's our whole mission is helping farm families in times of crisis. For us, it's injury, illness, or natural disaster. We can come in with the necessary equipment and volunteer workforce to step in, help that operation, get them through that season and on to the next.
What do we have to provide as the farmer on our 20 acres in order for you to come help us?
It's a pretty simple process. It's a simple application. It can all be done through our website. And a big part of what we do is also through referrals. So if you know of a family that's going through an injury, illness, or natural disaster, they could use, again, a hand up during any time of the growing season. We want to be there for them. So help us connect with that family and we can explain what it is that we do.
With what we're doing with our project, how important are the donations and the help of others to making Farm Rescue work?
Everything that Farm Rescue does is the result of generosity. It's individual donors, it's corporate partners, it's small businesses that are stepping in. They believe in this mission. They're helping bankroll this whole thing. We have equipment sponsors, and again, it's just a lot of generosity. We say it takes a village to do what we do, and one of the greatest assets we have is our volunteers. They are the true heroes of Farm Rescue, and I cannot give them enough credit. They're coming from across the country to help these families in a time of crisis. These complete strangers, they get nothing out of it except just that camaraderie and just knowing that they're making a difference for each and every family that they're helping.
How many states and how many families have you been a part of for Farm Rescue?
Farm Rescue's been around since 2006. We've helped over 1,100 farm families throughout our history. It started with planting in North Dakota where we were founded, but we quickly realized that it's not an isolated need. There's families across the country that are going through similar circumstances, and again, just need a little bit of extra help to get them through that season. So as resources have grown, or funding has grown, those donation dollars, we've gotten more equipment and more volunteers. We've been able to expand. We're up to 9 states now. Just launched into Wisconsin in the beginning of July of this year, so that'll be our 9th state, and again, it takes many hands to make the work lighter, and we've been blessed to have a lot of them. In my time, I've been with Farm Rescue just over 7 years, and I've visited with many of those incredible families and seen the impacts firsthand that our mission and our support is making for their operation. I think back to 2019, there was catastrophic flooding in Nebraska, and I always think back to this farm. They were downstream from a dam, and again, this was a 6th generation farm. They've never had water on that property, but the dam broke. They got a call from the sheriff that they needed to get off the property. So again, this farmer, probably in his late 70s, said he grabbed his cell phone and his wallet and he left.
Wow.
They had to leave everything behind, and that whole farm was washed away in just a matter of minutes. There was ice chunks. It was early in spring, did a lot of damage on its way through. And so they were starting from scratch. And again, a lot of people would walk away from that. And he was adamant that they're going to rebuild, they're going to get back, and checking in years later, they have, and it's incredible to see. And what we did was kind of a drop in the bucket. It was hay deliveries and equipment, fencing equipment, things like that to get them through. It was during calving season, they lost all their calves, they lost all their bulls, but just the pain in their eyes, hearing about what they lost, is something that's always stuck with me and will always stick with me. And I think back, again, this was a few years ago too. It was a young farmer who had an 8-month pregnant wife in the house. He was doing some maintenance on his baler, and happened to get his glove caught and became entrapped in that. And he had to free himself after 45 minutes. He didn't have a cell phone on him. And so again, I don't even like to think about what went into that process, but his first thought was, after getting a tourniquet on, is that I do not want to terrify my wife with this image, being 8 months pregnant. So he calmed himself. He walked in the house and calmly told her that she needed to call 911. But he's one that stuck with me too, because he's just incredibly positive in his outlook. It wasn't his dominant hand, and he's relearning life after that, and still running a successful cattle operation. But the thing that sticks with me most from that is that he taught farm safety. And I think that's a prime example that this can truly happen to anyone. Accidents happen all the time, no matter how careful you are, no matter how many good techniques that you imply, it's going to happen to anyone. So having farm rescue there as that safety net is really important, and I'm just proud to play a small part of that organization.
How many dollars are we going to be able to donate to Farm Rescue from Here We Grow? You're going to want to follow along all season. Watch our corn grow, see what our yield looks like, subscribe, and stay in touch with us so you know our end results and our profit to Farm Rescue.
Well, Bridget, Dan got my arm out, so I guess all's well that ends well?
I suppose,
Yeah.
but at least we've got Dan to help us for harvest.
No doubt. And if this is a lesson to you kids, be careful and don't play around farm equipment. Ugh.